Hey folks, it's TC speaking to you after we've finished this recording. I just wanted to warn you that the first 20 minutes of this, we messed up the recording so it does not sound to the standard that you're used to, but I think it is listenable, and then it does get better after 20 minutes. So that's the main thing I wanted to tell you. With all that said, please enjoy the podcast.
So I think that it'd be helpful. I'm surprised we've gotten this far without doing this already. I think it's one of the things we got to do. Just let's describe life skills. That's kind of where I was headed with walking through the first day. I was just kind of trying to walk to my first life skills, but we're taking a long time. Let's just hop there.
If you want, I mean, I like the unspooling. I want
nothing interesting happened. I wanted to talk about.
I'm okay with time jumps, but I want to then do because to me, okay, was your first life skills during the school day?
It's after we're done with school Monday.
Okay, so let me ask you some lead-up questions to it that will maybe get us there.
Because, I mean, the thing is nothing interesting happened in the weekend, but, the interesting things that happened to the degree... No, dude, weekends are boring, you know it.
I'm interested in your first 2 days at Excel. That they happen to be on a weekend. Actually, your first 3. Because to me, it's so interesting, leading up to life skills, you have no idea what this thing is going to be like.
But, everyone's talking about it all the time.
That's what I want to fucking know about.
Yeah,
that's what I'm
trying
saying.
to...
Well, that's the lead up, dude. They didn't talk during life skills.
Yeah, no, but just, the word Jamie is being used a lot.
Yeah, so kids are is it hush tones or is it yo, you'll find out about her?
Well, if you'd ask a question, they'll be like, you'll know,
Yeah.
It's hard to, if we ever made a movie about this, nailing this part of it would be really interesting.
I thought about how could you cast somebody, for Jamie, dude. Who would you cast?
Benedict Cumberbatch. Yeah, I mean, I don't know,
Right? It's tough to think about.
But, if you could really convey that, gradual sense of building dread.
That's what I'm fucking trying to do, man. Dude,
No, but I mean, I was trying to do whatever.
Sorry.
I was let's talk about life skills after I do this 2-second thing. Which was that? So, it's just, I wish I could remember those conversations, but it's just a feeling.
It was like a time.
I don't remember words, I don't remember instances, I remember the feeling.
So, what was the feeling?
Just this clearly, I can tell that this means a lot to these kids. It's probably the major force in their life.
It's the organizing event.
It's definitely going to be bad. I understood, every school I've been to had someone who performed that role. There was vice principals.
Role.
Yeah, at the school.
So you
did something wrong, you went to their office.
You understood that life skills was disciplinary.
Yes.
Okay.
But I mean, that doesn't really capture it, it's more that it's...
No.
It's the hour or 2 hours that are going to, dictate the rest of the time.
Well, that's what I'm saying, okay, in the lead up.
The tone of the group tone was going to be set during that time, and it was going to...
Until the next life skills.
Be unchanged until the next life skills.
Yeah.
It's almost
That's true, dude. That's a good way of looking at it, dude. They were very temporally organizing, the group mood shift.
Yes.
I mean, in some cases, it's so, palpable.
If we had a life skills yesterday where, the general tone was, I've never seen you guys doing so bad. You guys are doing so fucking awful, and I can't believe how disappointed I am.
So you shouldn't really be laughing then today.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if you're not in trouble, if you're in trouble, you shouldn't, you get in trouble for laughing.
Yeah.
Regardless. But even kids who had knocked it out, they were making straight A's and following every rule.
Yeah.
If they easy comparison would be a team playing after a loss. Whenever the Cowboys really spit the bit and you're flying back,
even if some receiver really put up numbers,
yeah, exactly.
Be well, I fucking have been doing good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely. The difference is, of course, the NFL players want to be there and care about the result.
Have an option about whether or not they get to be there.
Certainly.
A say in the matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my first life skills,
Well, wait, real quick, just leading up to it. Did you have a 12-step meeting over the weekend?
Sure I did, but I don't remember.
Did you have devotions that Monday before school with Miss Nancy?
Must have.
Right. So I'm not saying let's go into them right now, But I do think it's noteworthy that those are like just real quick. 12-step meeting on a weekend is like the staff will tell a student to run it, and you say vaguely self-helpy things to each other on some topic.
Sometimes there was parts of the Alcoholics Anonymous text that we needed to memorize.
Okay, yeah.
And sometimes it was just,
reciting.
Yeah, the whole.
As if it were the Quran.
Every single person, rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path.
Yeah.
Those who do are those who cannot or will not be honest with themselves. I know I fucked that up, but.
Thank you for being honest with that.
Yeah.
And then.
I got mine. You want to go through it?
I do eventually, yeah.
Okay.
And then devotions, you could get yelled at too. That was just where that principal that we'll get to, like, kind of led a similar meeting, but she was in charge of it.
It was weird because it did not have. It did not set that tone.
Well, that's what I'm saying, dude. You didn't even think to comment on them.
Exactly.
And those are both like the first one is a pretty like.
She could yell at you. She would definitely no one was going to tell her what to do.
She probably did that morning. No, I'm saying maybe not you that morning on your first day. She probably yelled at kids that morning for fucking up their 12-step memorization.
But whenever
you're not remembering that.
Whenever Jamie yelled at you, at the end of her yelling at you, she was going to tell you like the circumstances of your life for the next couple of weeks, whether you had a shirt, jumpsuit, like if your next visit that was coming up, whether or not that was going to be canceled.
Yeah, maybe
might
you're
cancel
eat
phone
that
calls.
night.
Yeah, you might. Yeah, maybe you would like standing in the corner, like just nose in the corner for like a full weekend. There was kids.
There were kids who did it for months.
Yeah, I feel like Heather was there for months. I think she was in the corner more often than not during the time that I was there.
Yeah.
And so like that was like Jamie was going to yell at you, and then came the bad part.
Yeah, no.
Nancy, there was none of that. Like she would yell at you, and then like you would know that she didn't really like you, and like that's
worst comes to worst, you might know that whatever it was that made her yell at you was going to carry over to life skills. And
I don't feel like Nancy did just a whole lot of coordinating. I feel like she kind of liked being sort of her own entity that did her own thing.
I think that was smart of her.
Yeah. No, it was an interesting way to watch her work because all of the rest of the staff were like operating in an organizational structure under Jamie. Whereas Nancy very much felt like it was a different, like she was, like if you made the chart, you would just put like a dot over here, not connected to the other dots, and be like, that's where Nancy is. Because she was gone by the time Jamie got there, 90% of the time. The opportunities of them being on campus, I don't think that they saw each other very well. I think that Nancy would go weeks, months without seeing Jamie.
No, I mean, I hear you, but I think...
Because her relationship was primarily with Sally.
No, but Sally lives with Jamie, so I think especially when they had the kids and stuff, there was frequent interaction.
That's true. She definitely had a relationship with the kids.
But like in terms of like
they adopted several kids. We can do an episode discussing our thoughts on that at a future date.
Well, and I mean,
it's an interesting dynamic.
I think Nancy was certainly. I mean we could. But I think Nancy was functionally like a grandparent of those kids, like in many ways. I think.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I mean, I think maybe just because I saw her like that, like. I do have fonder memories, maybe because I liked school too, and I never really had a problem with Nancy. I mean, I saw her fucking terrorize some kids, so for sure. But I don't know, to me, it's like Sally was such a powerful personality. She was so clearly the dominant person in that relationship, which was probably coming out of some sort of synanon. No.
Okay, with Nancy. Okay.
Some sort of synanon background. I mean, I don't know the specifics of their specific origin story as a pair. But I
think there's mutual respect.
Seriously, a bond there.
Yeah.
But I remember one time Sally came in and she was trying to make some point about like you don't always have to argue, but she was feeling herself too hard. And it really stuck out to me, obviously, because I still remember it. And she was like talking about an argument with Nancy, and I think her overall point was that Nancy was right, and Sally had to admit that. But she didn't say what it was about, or that wasn't important. I don't remember it. But she was like, I mean, we all know, who do you think, I mean, who's going to talk circles around who in this conversation? Like, very, like, arrogantly, to use the word that they threw at us all the time.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, that's your friend you're talking about, like, to myself. Like, you're really feeling yourself in kind of an unbecoming way right now. But I was like, she's probably right. Like, in this browbeating style, which we haven't even approached, but, you know, the game in Synanon, and then their version of it at Excel, and whatever version of it they applied over their decades of friendship, it did seem like it was a power dynamic, and Sally was basically on top of it. Mm-hmm. Nancy has agency, dude, and, you know, she terrorized those kids.
Yeah.
But, you know, in terms of, like, could Nancy ever step in and say Jamie's out of line? Maybe. I mean, maybe she did, dude. But I had trouble imagining.
You do know.
Yeah, I can
Search
see
your heart,
maybe in
we'll
the
find that
early
answer.
days. I can see. Well, I don't know that Jamie was like as powerful in the early days.
You know that.
Because, like, do you know that Sally's sister worked at Excel?
I mean, I'm sure I did then. It rings a slight bell, but
She like quit in weird, like, randomly. Like, I always wondered, like, was that like a finally, like, what the fuck is going on here?
God.
This isn't what I signed up for.
how many times must that have happened? I mean, you know, like I said, that you know, Mr. John leaving.
Yeah.
And like that was he pulled me aside like kind of the end of the school year. I remember like the room where we would put our shoes, you know? You remember that?
No.
When we got into school, I mean this was
Oh, yeah.
you couldn't wear shoes in the school.
Yeah.
So it was just like a big wall of cubbies
Yeah.
and you'd have to put your shoes in them.
Yeah.
And so he like kind of pulled me into that room and was like, I just want to let you know, like I'm leaving at the end of this year and
Wow.
I've enjoyed the time that we've spent.
Nice.
And, yeah.
No, but the only reason I brought up the sister was to say it was in the early days. So I always wondered if it was like her seeing the escalation of what it was like. Because it wasn't, dude, and, you know, some of that
School
chatter
evolved
coming in.
a lot over time.
Well, it wasn't always Excel, dude.
Yeah.
It was just like the
Rose
ranch.
Ranch.
Yeah. So I don't know that Jamie was like in the position to have people in the corner like that. Like in the earlier days.
Yeah, and I was
Did they put
kind of...
adults in the corner?
That's
Probably.
a great question.
I didn't see it on it, I'm sure it did.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I see, I had always kind of had an inkling that, like, to some extent, they were helpful in the process of Jamie getting sober.
For sure.
Yeah.
That was my impression as well.
Like, that it was a place for adults, that she was...
Oh, that she got sober at 12244 Serenity Rose?
That maybe, like, early in the process, you know?
Some iteration
like, that
of
she
that.
didn't, like, have her recovery feet fully under her, and these were people that knew more than she did, and so she was grateful to have the guidance.
That impression.
And then, like, kind of grew in her confidence and power, and, like, you know, sort of stood out. Because, I mean, it's difficult to describe. Actually, current events have made it fairly easy to describe, although this is such a complicated thing. Like, anytime you say anyone's like Trump is such, like, a big figure that he means different things to different people.
Yeah, but dude,
like,
Jamie
that
is like Trump, dude.
The energy, the total, like, I'm dictating everything. Of course, I'm the boss. Like, I know that no one else considered anything else.
Yeah, love him or hate him.
And, like,
the comparison is that.
Just the force of nature, like, just kind of like...
I wake up at noon and I yell people, like, I
worship God insofar as that he gave me this intuition that we all accept as, like, the most accurate thing that's ever been put on earth. So really, I can't distinguish between that and God.
And it's gotten me this far.
The only thing he has done, as best I can tell, is to give me this brain that makes it so that I'm sure about everything that I'm right.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's the total force of nature. Like, any room they're in, they're fucking up that room. Like, you know, sometimes there's a bigger alpha, and, like, then he does the weird handshake shit. But no matter what, he's fucking up that room.
And he tries not to be in a room like that.
Yeah.
The only time for introspection is after being in a room where you get alphaed, and there's kind of like, how the fuck did I get alphaed? Like, with the...
It's just that kind of, the only language is strength.
Yeah. Definitely.
You know, yeah, so, you know, it's helpful that we do now have this example. It's not like you could compare her to past presidents. I don't think that would capture it.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's...
No.
Every Excel student I've talked to in the Trump era has, like, at some point been like, So you have been thinking about, like, they're the same, right? Like, we all see that, right?
Yeah. I mean, Trump's smarter than Jamie. Jamie's a small-time hustler.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm just saying in terms of scale of the con.
She doesn't own any buildings in New York, that's true.
You know, she's never going to be president. Not if we have anything to say about it.
Yeah, no, I don't think she could.
Yeah.
It would... I could kind of imagine, like, a Marjorie Taylor Greene-esque run for Congress. Like, do you think that in your mind, the average congressional representative of Montgomery County, do you feel like they're that different than her?
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely. I definitely think there are people...
That'd be so wild.
There are people in politics who have strong ties to the TTI, like, worked in them and then, like... went into politics.
Yeah. I mean, it's because it's one of those businesses where, like, the regulations mean the survival of the business.
Yeah.
Like, there's plenty of states where what they do was just flatly not allowed. And what I'm saying is I think that, like, Montgomery County became one of those places over the course of the time.
Yeah. Certainly effectively.
You know. Yeah, so I could see how...
I mean, with all things, though...
Like their connection with the sheriff.
Is it when keeping a Republican out of office? If she ran as a Democrat...
I'd vote for the Republican.
You would?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You can't have people like her involved in anything.
Yeah.
She's... I mean, like, her soul is corrupted, you know?
Yeah, no, I'm sitting here being, like, probably true of the Republican, too, but not in the way that we know it.
And, like, I don't know the Republican, dude.
True.
Like, you know, I'm sure I have her nailed.
Yeah.
I can never be sure about this other person unless we spent 4 years under their care.
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting that they were like Republicans when we were there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've told you the story before that we did get to see whenever the Astros went to the ALCS in 2004. Whenever they went to the World Series in 2005, I was out. But my dad and I got tickets to one of the games because we're White Sox fans. And on the way down, we're like we called them up and they like met us at an IHOP or something.
Very
like
nice.
Dino.
Very nice.
And then as we were like leaving the game, I always try to remember. I know Christy was there 100%. I think that I might have walked by Jamie at the World Series game. Like, it's the kind of thing that, like, where surely if I did, I would have a clear memory of it, but, like, I'm like, I think I did.
Well, see, and that may be a situation where she felt, because if she's not in total control, she feels alpha, except it's, like, so much more terrifying than it would be. I was about to say...
Just have my parent there, but, like, it's done.
The power dynamic's over.
Yeah, exactly.
You can tell her to fuck off if you want, and you might. You're the kind of Joker card that would.
Seriously. At that time.
Well, we have another friend who says he saw her at a gas station.
That story blows my fucking mind. I think about it all the time.
Right? He says he saw her. They made eye contact as he was walking in, and then he came out to yell at her, and she had like hastily retreated and left. Like
that he was unsure about because she was in the passenger seat, I believe.
Yeah.
And he didn't see like anyone else leave the gas station, so like they would have been the driver. But, like, whenever he came out, she wasn't there. Yeah,
I was under the impression that it was, like, in the time it took him to register seeing her and just being like, fuck this, I'm going to talk. Like, that was Jamie, I'm going to go tell her.
Yeah, like you kind of went through the, like, is that, okay, I got to do something. Like, what am I going to do?
But it's not like
working himself up.
Yeah, but it's not like he was in front of the beer case for, like, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, it was fast enough that it was weird that she was gone so fast.
Yeah.
He was like, where the fuck did she go so fast? And the obvious inference is she was like, oh shit, Daniel's about to fucking fuck
and just the fact that like that it was a gas station, like it was his territory.
Yeah.
Like that fucking he grew up there, like this was a gas station he'd been to 1,000,000 times in his life. Yeah. She doesn't live in San Antonio.
Yeah.
It's fucking wild. Oh.
Yeah.
Can't imagine.
I think being older, I think I've said this already, but it's like, because I went back twice. Once, the first time, because Jamie required me to give me a reference.
See, this is so, like, I just feel like, you know, I mean, like, whenever you left, like, I don't know, dude, like, not trying to be weird. Like I missed you, you know, like
No,
the way
yeah,
you would whenever
definitely.
kids left. Like
I appreciate that. I remember seeing you when I came back, and I was happy to see
you
you.
said that because, like, I have no record. Like, I just feel like that would have been a giant event. Like the dude, if this guy who I was like, dude, fucking, I wonder where he is. I wonder how he's doing. Like, I would think, like, I wonder how he's doing.
Dude, this is so funny because I guess what I said was not memorable, and so it was a big event because you know, like her brain is always like, what's the power dynamic?
Yeah.
So just to like briefly make clear, so I was applying for a job as a camp counselor.
Oh god damn it, dude.
Have we not recorded any of this?
No.
Fucking hell. Oh well.
I mean, we did, but
It's all fun. I don't care.
All right, so then we realized that everything you just heard was only through one mic, and we stopped and discussed what to do, and now we're jumping back into the conversation. I don't even remember what the last thing we said was. I mean, I know we were talking about Daniel at Jamie. Oh, you were saying coming back. All right, start the story of you.
Oh,
coming back.
yeah.
Let's go.
Because, okay, like we were talking about, if depending on whose mic was on, you might not have gotten it all, but like what we were talking about was like Jamie's brain quickly calculating like power dynamics and being surprisingly non-confrontational, or even being a non-presence to the point that you question whether you saw her.
She would surprise you a lot, yeah, because you definitely had like an idea in your mind of like, yeah, there's some times where you'd be like, oh my God, she's going to fucking crush me. And then she would just pull back. And
Oh, you mean in life skills?
in life.
Yeah. No, I was... So
Yeah,
what-
but I know it is distinct from what you're talking about. Sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, wait, what did you mean coming back then? I thought you meant when I came back.
That is what I'm talking about. But
Okay.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry, I was because of the power dynamic calculation.
Yeah.
So I was applying for a job as a camp counselor, and you had to like explain when you graduated high school and then what you've been doing since. And since I stayed the year, I couldn't just say I graduated high school then I went to college. So I had to say I was at Excel Academy in Conroe for this time. You had to leave the phone number, and it was like, can we contact them as a reference? So I was like, shit, dude. I mean, I can't say they can't contact them. Like, that seems shady to me. Plus, if they Google this place, they'll be like, what the fuck? You know, and it was that year where I was teaching the kids or whatever, so it shouldn't be a big deal. So I called the office, and I was thinking I would probably get Christy, who would be fine. Good, actually.
Yeah.
I think she probably would be like, it would be just, she would have been like, how are you doing? It would have been a very nice conversation.
Yeah.
Like, and she would have been happy to give the reference. But for some reason, like maybe like, no way Jamie answered the phone.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Like, I can't imagine she answered.
But like if she was in there and someone
Yeah.
said like Alex is on the phone.
That's what happened. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that I ended up on the phone with her and like having to explain what I needed. And she, of course, her brain is immediately like, I'm on top of this power dynamic then. He does need this. Like, withholding this, he doesn't want me to withhold this. And certainly I could just fuck with him. You know what I mean? Like, I could get it, you know, it's not the end of the world if I don't get a camp counselor job, but I wanted it. It was good. So anyway, she's like, yeah, I'll do it, but I don't know if you're doing good, dude. Like, you know, you're at college. This is the first I've heard from you. You know, I don't know if I can in good conscience, like, she didn't
you get
use
the
phrase
sense
good
that there
conscience.
like were kids that would like check in and be like, I'm doing good.
Oh, I've been in the office when they called, and I had to talk to them, dude. This one kid, man, he was one of my like kind of a nemesis, dude. I feel like I don't want to keep saying it's this kid I've already brought up, but I've brought him up already, and I don't want to keep saying it was the same kid over and over again. Because he wasn't that bad of a kid, but there was just like weird things. But I remember, so this kid called while I was in the office because, you know, I'd work in the office a lot. And they made me talk to him, like kind of like pass the phone around kind of thing. And he gets on the phone and he's like, hey man. And like, we had never really gotten along. So he was trying to stunt on me. And he was like, I'm doing good. And then he's like, I got a girlfriend, you know? And I was just like, all right. He's like, yeah. Like he definitely said yeah afterwards. And I was like,
Kind of how it is.
okay, man. All right. Like, take it easy, man.
Congrats.
I'm maybe in the middle of some sort of weird don't jerk off for 7 months thing, like depending on where we are. But again, I don't want to jump to that story. But anyway,
Was it a guy I met?
No.
Okay.
He was from my early days.
Okay.
So Jamie was like, you have to come back, see us, and you have to meet with the kids, and I want you to give a talk to all the kids at the school about how hard it is to make it and to stay sober, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And
Like, did she maybe just want to ask you if it was hard?
I don't know. I think she was assuming she was right that it was hard.
Because that was a wild thing to me. Like, I would just always, like, once I got out, I was like, this?
No, it was hard. Well, I didn't stay sober, so whether it was hard.
I did. I didn't find it that difficult.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really drink alcohol now. I had a glass of wine in 2021 though. Did
Yeah.
I tell you about it?
No.
Yeah, I had one glass of wine. I got sleepy, man. It didn't take long. I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
And then I was up like 2 hours later. So it was like I woke up when it was still PM, and I was like, this is why I don't do this anymore. This just sucks. But I did stay sober the first semester and a half of college. I didn't have any drugs or alcohol.
Okay.
And that was because coming out of Excel, I was like, I don't need that stuff. Like, it's just, that's for these kids to party at school. Here, I'm about my business. Let's get good grades and get out of here.
The entire, like, everyday reinforced message was that the point of the school was to make sure that no one there ever did drugs or alcohol ever again in the rest of their life.
Even though there were kids there who never did drugs or alcohol before they got there. Minority of kids, but that always struck me as weird. As well.
But constant, like every day you would hear that you're going to be dead or in jail if you don't
For sure.
do this.
For sure.
And so like it really, like I did think that like surely like the kids that are taking everything seriously now, like of course they're going to do that. Like they're not going to do drugs or alcohol.
Yeah.
And so like it is crazy that like, we smoke together, like
Yeah.
and like there's certain kids, I don't want to like call out names here, but like just the idea that like so and so like goes to bars as I know he does, like
Yeah.
it's mind blowing.
Yeah. Well, I had other side of that coin. I had a weird encounter where I had dinner with an Excel alumni, and I assumed that he would drink. So I was like, and this is before I like really stopped drinking alcohol. And so I just assumed, I was like, what kind of wine do you want to get? And he had to be like, I felt like bad. I felt like I put him in an awkward spot.
Yeah.
Cause he had to be like, dude, I don't drink, dude. I've never had alcohol since I left Excel. Like, I was like, holy shit, dude. Like that is the first person I've met though, that like fully did that, I think.
But it just
maybe.
like I know what you're talking about, and like he like I would just say that he was in that group, but like not alone in it.
No,
like
dude.
I would have.
I was in that group, dude. I really thought I would
that
not.
most people were like that. Like when you were at Excel, you were like, I'm not going to drink or do drugs again.
Yeah, I was not because I was like, I was like, yeah, that stuff's bad. I think I was like. I mean, it's hard for me to put myself fully back in those shoes.
I hear you.
But I know I didn't drink alcohol until spring break my freshman year. And I drank alcohol for the first time post Excel with kids from Excel, who were all getting fucked up. And I was just staying with them.
That's just wild. I really wish that I could have like
it was quite a scene,
that
man.
apartment.
Yeah, it was, it felt like, the Lost Boys, man. Like it was just a group of young men.
I'll bet.
Just like after this incredibly
Used to
restrictive
supervision.
period. Yeah.
And like, you don't want it. And like, of course you don't want it. But like, you also don't really know how to operate outside of it.
Yeah, it was pretty nuts over there. It was fun, but there was no way I was not going to drink alcohol there. It was just too much of a party atmosphere.
Yeah.
And same with like those kids. Like that was, I think, Jamie's ostensible reason when she was like, no one should talk to each other when they left. I mean, I do think it's because she just didn't want people being able to speak about her freely the way we are right now. But I mean, in some ways, I don't think that group is like all hanging out together anymore. I mean, I think parts of it are. But, You just look at how
Yeah,
everyone was
not
responding.
not all of them are outside of jail.
Well, that's what I'm saying, and I don't want to go into details on those aspects. Just I don't not right, but I agree. Yeah, some kids are now in jail. Yeah, and I don't know. Just looking back, it's like so clearly a group of traumatized kids, like heavily resorting to drugs and alcohol and other behaviors to try to make sense of like being in the world for the first time, where no one really understands you but these other troubled kids. And just like, dude, the other thing that sticks out to me from that time, actually, I don't want to, again, people's lives, I don't want to get too lurid, but one of the kids who eventually did, end up having serious trouble with drugs, I remember knew that I was like sober. Like when I showed up during that week, I was like, guys, I don't do that. And I think it might not have been the first time I had been at that apartment. Mm-hmm. I can't remember. But no one was like, yo, you got to get fucked up, pussy. Like, everyone was like, okay, happy to see me. Like we were all friends.
Yeah.
And no one was like pressuring, but people were like smoking weed around me, like drinking around me. And I remember like that first night I got drunk, and then the kid I'm talking about, he had been out somewhere. I don't know where. And he came back, and I overheard him like being like, where's Alex? And they're like, oh, he's like passed out. But I was awake. And he, even though he was like doing hella drugs, like went off on like his other roommates and was like, what the fuck? Like, we're out of control. Like this is too much. Like you couldn't even keep it away from Alex. Like he's still in college. Like I'm like half of you. Like like, God damn it. Like just, part of me was like, that's like, he's just a good friend. But also I think he was like, I sense like just overall like frustration of like, what are any of us doing? Like, you know what I mean? But it was like, most people ended on their feet, but some people unfortunately like had a hard time. But that was like such an insane period. So yeah, by like Wednesday of that week, I was like, po up. Like, I mean, I don't know what else I would have done. And then like, I was basically like a regular college partier. Like I wasn't like immediately what Jamie said.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I think like that summer when I was the camp counselor, I think like some girl had weed at the end of the summer, and then I went to ACL. So and smoked weed there. Those were like my first two times.
Nice. What year was that?
Okay. So I got out in 2003. I went to ACL that year, but I didn't smoke weed.
In 2003?
Yeah. And
that must have been mind blowing.
It was fun as fuck. Yeah. I wrote up, like there's like, my lab partner in like a biology class, was from Austin.
So it was like immediately? Like it was like a month after you got out? Because ACL's it's
I like music.
September, October.
So yeah, she was cool, man.
That's
so
awesome.
She was like telling me about ACL and stuff. And, it's like school's just starting. And we were like, pretty good friends for freshman year. So,
do you like it in general?
ACL?
Yeah.
I mean, I went back the next year and then one other time, but I'm not like I'm too old for the festival.
I don't know, dude.
scene.
It's a lot of work.
I have good memories of going.
Yeah, like I'm not mad that I went, but like I don't have any enthusiasm for future trips.
Yeah, and I don't go to the festival here. There's a rap festival at least. I haven't been to it.
Is there?
Yeah, I'm hoping to play it next year.
Okay.
We'll work our way up to it. But yeah, it's I can't remember, Homegrown Festival.
Yeah,
it's at Fair Park.
They do a lot of things. They say are things. I don't buy it.
It may not be 2 days. I think 2 days is kind of the.
I'm just saying. I feel like they'll get like 5 local bands to play and be like, "This is our festival."
No, they had like Migos and like Chance the Rapper, like guys like that level.
Okay.
And they had local people too, for sure.
But they adjust that. It's not like 20 of that.
It was a 1-day festival.
Yeah.
So yeah, I saw, dude. That was my first time in Dallas in 2007. Rock the Bells at Fair Park.
Really?
I think they called that a festival too, and it was sick, dude. UGK no showed, and
wow, they're busy.
I don't know what it was, dude. It was that brief window when Pimp C was out.
Okay.
And they had that album come out with the Outkast feature on the single.
I mean, you know.
You know what I'm talking about.
Of course.
Yeah. And the guy in front of me, who the people I were with, not all of them, but me and one dude, we paid him $10 to hit his blunt because we didn't have any weed.
Okay.
So we were like, just let us hit your blunt a few times. But he had the UGK logo shaved in the back of his head. Like, you know, like full, and you know what that logo
excited
looks
for
like?
this, yeah.
It's like, for the listener, it's a crown with the letters UGK initialed in. So it's like, this guy got tooled up for the concert. And it's like, they no-showed, dude. It's pretty funny.
It's hard for him.
Yeah. But anyway, I hear you. It's not a festival. I don't know how we got started there. Oh, yeah. So that's when I smoked weed the second time, was 05 ACL, or 04 ACL.
Okay. But yeah, so you're saying Jamie said that you could only get the recommendation if
I
you
came
showed
back,
you're doing well.
came back and talked about how hard it was to make it.
Yeah.
And I remember, I thought long and hard about what I was going to say, because I was like, one thing I know is I'm done lying for this woman. Like, it is hard, like being out of Excel, trying to fucking keep my head above water, you know? But I'm not going to be like, and so you have to fucking, you know, whatever, worship Excel Academy. So I very specifically like worded it generally so that I wasn't clear what I meant by making it, but I was sober at the time, but I could already kind of tell, like, I'm not going to be sober guy as my identity. And so I remember being like, basically like, when you leave, you're going to have to decide what making it is. And you're going to be the one that evaluates whether you make it. And I still do believe that. And so, you know, I'm glad it resonated with you. And I could tell that it did.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. Like, if you say that you remember talking to me.
I remember,
if not for that, I just would have been like, maybe I was on a doctor's visit.
I only remember two things, dude. I remember pulling up and seeing a kid talking on a cell phone and being like, what the fuck is going on here?
See, I mean,
And
so
then
when was
to you.
this? Do you know the month?
2003, probably. Okay, yeah, because dude, so while I was there, it's not like that's the only thing I did. So I think, okay, it was Thanksgiving of 2003. So no, I remember talking to you. Maybe you didn't see the speech, but I remember like talking to you specifically, one-on-one. Maybe not one-on-one, but, you know, personally interacting with you.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So you're sure it was 2003? Like, you got out in 2003?
Yeah, that's how quick, because I got the job. The job was for the summer after my freshman year.
You're already applying in Thanksgiving?
Yep. Because I remember I came home for Christmas, and that's when I came home for Christmas.
I just remember cell phones being after that.
Like, yeah, I know it was all of that timeline, because I specifically remember, like, Christmas break, it was clear it was not a good idea to try to live at home. Summer break, like, the adjustment, it was just too... I was a college student, but I was also a kid who went to Excel. You know what I mean? So I remember, like, my parents being surprised like you are, because I didn't tell them, dude. I was kind of sandbagging a little bit.
Yeah.
So, like, they were like, what are your plans, by the way? You know? And I was like, I have a job already. It's lined up. Like, don't worry about it, you know? So, yeah, definitely. It was that Thanksgiving, because I stayed with a friend from college for a couple days, and then I went and actually ate Thanksgiving with a kid from Excel that you know.
It's tight.
Yeah, it was tight. And then we met up with another girl from Excel, and, you know, statute of limitations has expired on this one, but that was when the college kids were up in that dorm, like up back in the woods or whatever. I may have mentioned this, but that they knew the alarm trick too. And so we busted a kid out, and they all got fucking hammered at one of the kids' parents' houses, like, you know, who were out of town for the holidays or whatever.
That's so wild.
Yeah, dude. I couldn't believe it, dude, because I was still sober at this time. So I'm just hanging out with my friends, and they're getting blitzed and just like ripping cigarettes and just like getting so drunk. And the kid that was still at Excel,
Just the balls.
I know, dude. And the kid that was still at Excel got the drunkest, probably because he wasn't drinking that much. Like
Yeah.
the other two were drinking like college students,
Yeah.
and he was drinking like a kid who had been at Excel for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And so we dropped him off, and he basically like crawled back in the dorm, dude. He must have reeked the next day. Like I've always wondered, did he get in trouble? And none of us, like to my knowledge, know.
I mean, by that time, he was like out of the ecosystem of the main school, so
Yeah.
I didn't see him much. I know, I know what you're talking about, but yeah.
I feel like it was probably like either no one told on him.
See,
or,
I feel like there was some kind of deal where like it filtered down that like they weren't like that something had happened.
oh really? Sorry.
I did not know the details, like,
Yeah.
but it's hard. I might just be mixing up that I've heard you tell that story
Well,
in the last couple of years.
I was thinking if he didn't get in trouble, then that shows that things had gotten incredibly lax in the college dorm because he had to have reeked and of cigarettes.
Like just other kids must have known he left too. Like,
Exactly.
he heard the
So
door shut.
if he was with his boys, then maybe it was like all good, and that could have been the case. I mean, kids got away with worse.
Then
but that would
sneaking off campus and drinking.
Yeah, like I mean,
It's kind of like the
actually no, I'm unaware of a kid getting away with worse than that.
yeah.
Because what I was thinking is like kids had sex, but actually that's not worse. I mean, neither of them are bad, but that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know which is a worse offense in Excel rules. Probably the drinking.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I went back. That's
Yeah.
what
I don't know.
But yeah, I like saw staff members during that time. I think I spent one night maybe at Christy's house, dude. And
Really?
like,
What was
yeah,
the circumstances?
I think I just wanted to see her. Like, I liked her. Like, I'd worked with her in the office a lot.
Yeah, I don't
And
know.
like, well, dude, I think this is one of the complex things. It's as hard of a truth to tell as it is to be like how bad everything is before Excel. To be like, I had genuine fondness for some of these people. And even now, I feel bad, like totally just dogging Christy, dude. I mean, I think it's like she didn't fully know what
complicated.
it was like. Yeah, we have to get to it. But anyway, that's what I'm saying. Shout out Christy.
Yeah, no, I've seen Christy in the time since I've seen Christy in the last 5 years.
Really?
I mean, she was at
Oh,
the
I
wedding.
think I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, although
we were together in Temecula, California.
so how was? I mean, I
She
know
said,
you've told
"Meet
that.
me in Temecula, and there we were.
I know you've told that story in other contexts, but
Yeah.
I could use a refresher, and I doubt all of the audience has heard it.
Just a guy who we've made reference to, probably the guy who doesn't drink.
Yeah.
He got married, and like I like him. He lives nearby. And he's always been in Texas, and so like at various points, whenever he lived in other cities, if I would visit those cities, I would call him up and be like, "Let's get a dinner."
Yeah.
Really, it's kind of ironic. I see him less now. Like, I mean, I don't think that of all the people I know that seemed like they would take the coronavirus seriously, I would put him number one on the list.
Yeah, for sure.
And much respect. I hope it's gone all right for him. I assume that he
I
hasn't
hope so too.
had too bad of infection.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, it was weird. It's just one of those things of like, whenever someone lives in another town and like you go to that town, it's like, well, I know I've only got 2 days to see him, so like, let's go see him. But then whenever it's like here, it's like you could see him anytime, you'd see him never.
Yeah.
You know what I
It's
mean?
tough. Yeah.
There's just not like a inciting incident to put pressure on like now. we
Unless
should
you're
do it.
podcasting.
Yeah. And I mean, just what I don't need to like dive this deep into his personal life, but he's kicking ass professionally,
Sure.
and I think that it takes up a lot of his time.
Definitely.
So much respect.
Rock on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas you and I are scumbags that have nothing to do.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Um.
prepare for the night. I got some topics coming up.
Okay.
Yeah. Nothing too crazy.
But yeah, so he got married. At the time, he was living in California,
Yeah.
and so the wedding was in California,
In Temecula.
in Temecula, California.
Okay.
Do you know the internet meme?
No.
There's a online fight that like blew up and like just had a lot of people being like, "Look at these fools."
Is that why
Where-
you said meet me in Temecula earlier?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was about Kobe Bryant, like whether or not he
Okay.
was the GOAT.
Okay.
And,
was Kobe alive at the time of the meme?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And
I think
they
that matters.
were fucking, the guy was like, "You can't talk to me this way.
Yeah,
Like,
sure.
not without catching these hands."
I can already tell that's a guy pro Kobe.
Yeah,
Yes, fuck yeah.
gotta be. And so, the other guy was like, just fucking with him, he was like, oh yeah, I can't. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, tell me where you are. I'll drive there right now.
Oh, these are online beefs.
Yeah.
So it's like a what's your location?
Yeah,
kind of deal.
like I'm
Okay,
coming
okay,
over. I'm
okay.
gonna kick your ass.
Yeah,
I'm driving right now.
Yeah. Okay.
And the one guy's just like goading him on, but the other guy was like dead serious. Like, I'm in Temecula, dude. Meet me in
Fuck
Temecula.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Got
So
it. So you met Christy in Temecula.
I did. No. I mean, I don't know. It was kind of wild. Where like I felt like we'd coordinated on plans, and so like I flew into LA and was like thinking that we were all gonna like do LA stuff, and I was
You
like,
thought
all right,
you and Christy were gonna do LA?
not Christy, dude.
I was gonna
course.
say, dude.
No.
That would
No,
be
just
wild.
other Excel students went to this wedding.
Yeah. Okay.
And like we talked probably like 9 months out or so, like way out
Oh yeah.
of like,
You gotta
hey,
shore
here's
it
what
up.
I'm thinking about doing. And we had that conversation. And then like a week out, I was
Yeah.
like, all right, so that thing we talked about like 8 months ago, like how'd that evolve?
Yeah.
And they were like, oh no, we're in San Diego. So I'm like, well, I have a plane ticket to Los Angeles.
Oh shit.
But another dude was fucking snowboarding in Tahoe
Okay.
and then gonna drive down to the wedding from there.
Gnarly.
So I was like, would you mind going out of your way to pick me? Like I had a listener, I'd met him prior and he lived in Los Angeles, and at this time it was not legal to buy weed in in stores regularly, but he had medical and he had a medical card.
Yeah.
So, and he lived kind of near the airport. So I was like, I'll get a ride to his place, pick up some drugs.
Sure.
Then this guy picks me up, takes me down to San Diego, got a hotel in San Diego. Like I hadn't bought the LA hotel yet.
Dang.
So I got the hotel in San Diego.
Okay.
And at that point, I mean, like, in that drive, like, Southern California is beautiful.
Just ripping trees.
I mean, that guy, I think, is fairly sober. We were not
okay.
that, but I mean, like,
That was a test question, dude.
I was not lighting up in his car with him. But then when we got to San Diego, we spent like a night in San Diego. And the dude who drove me, his like childhood best friend's brother operates it, like he's the manager, top dog at a seafood restaurant there.
Nice.
And he was like, just here's something for the table.
Oh, that'd be
it was
beautiful,
a delightful
dude. You're all
experience.
going off that Cali Green. And the chef is just hooking you up.
Yeah.
Woo.
And then so, got the night in San Diego, and then we've got the hotel in Temecula for the next night. So we're just kind of doing some stuff in San Diego. I think we saw Mission Beach. Is that in San Diego? That sounds right.
Yeah.
And then just like it's time to head towards Temecula, and that was, I think that we all look back with some question about whether or not this was a good idea. But just constant rotation the entire time of delicious California weed.
Blunt after blunt.
Pablo had just come out, and I showed up. I was like, "Have you guys heard this?" And they were
The
like,
album "The Life of Pablo" by
Yes.
Kanye West.
"Yes."
Wow, very nice, very nice.
It was fresh, and I was like, "Have you guys heard this?" They're like, "We have not heard it." And I was like, "Well, I know what we're doing on this drive.
Ah, that's beautiful.
Just running through the whole thing."
That's beautiful.
And I don't know if you've ever driven from San Diego to Temecula, gone through
not.
Escondido.
Have not.
It's the hill country, but it's in California.
Beautiful.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It is. I can't describe it to you. It was one of the finest fucking afternoons of my life.
Oh, it's an afternoon drive. I'm picturing a night drive for some reason.
No, I mean, we woke up in San Diego. We did stuff for a couple hours, like the
that's
Mission
nice.
Beach. But then, probably like noon, 1 o'clock,
That's nice.
head towards Temecula.
Very nice. Yeah. Okay.
The rehearsal dinner's that night, and then the next night's the wedding, and that's the point at which I see Christy.
So no rehearsal dinner, or you didn't go to the rehearsal dinner, or you did go?
I did not go.
Okay. Did she? Do you know?
I would assume that she did.
Okay. Was she in the wedding?
Like, what do you mean? Like, was she a bridesmaid?
Yeah.
She was not.
Okay. I guess that's the only option.
Yeah,
know.
she wasn't like an usher
She
or
would be a
anything.
groom's lady.
No,
you know?
she was
that?
not in the wedding.
Okay.
But I mean, she was there.
Yeah, no, I know. Well, I'm just rehearsal. Why didn't you go to the rehearsal, but she did?
I don't know.
It's
dude.
not my business.
Why are these
dude.
rules
That's-
for anything?
Like,
Well, that's why I slotted her into
they
the
did
rules.
not. They did not rent as big a space for the rehearsal dinner as they did for the wedding. So necessarily, some people are going to go to the wedding and not go to the rehearsal dinner.
And I wouldn't want you.
I'm not
cut-ups in
like
there
his
either.
fucking rider. Like I said, he's the
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
guy
yeah,
that like
yeah.
once or twice, like once every 2 years, we have a dinner together. I'm sure he has closer friends than me, which is fine. I have closer friends than him.
Sure,
It's not that big a
sure.
deal.
I didn't mean.
But
to
there's a mutual
step on
affection.
you. I agree.
So we
You got
invited him to the
invite,
wedding.
dude. Yeah.
He went to
yeah.
my wedding,
Okay,
but I
very
don't
nice.
think went to my rehearsal dinner.
Was he in your wedding?
No.
Okay.
I kind of try to do like a dude from like every stage of life, sort of.
That's exactly what I did, and
Yeah.
But I feel like guys who got excluded because of that have since excluded me. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I've been like, feels kind of tit for tat. You know, it wasn't like that. You know,
Yeah.
when I did it.
I had my brother. I had a pre-Excel dude. I had an Excel dude.
Yeah.
I had a post-Excel dude.
Yeah, I didn't
think
have
that's
any
it.
pre-Excel dude, but I'm my brother, my first college group of friends, then the Jeans Baller group of friends, then law school roommate,
Okay.
and yeah, I think that's all I had. Yeah, just the three. Dude, I was a menace at my wedding, dude. Like the photographers kept trying to like come and like make us do goofy shit and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was just like pounding white wine because that's all the hotel had. And I would just yell at the photographers and just be like, get the fuck, like, I'm not doing any of this, dude.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, it's our job. And
I mean, I didn't like it. Like, I was
I
kind of
refused, dude.
like, I'm like, I
We have
am
no
the
pictures.
customer. I know what I want. I don't care about like his
Yeah, that's what I told them.
picture of my
dude.
brother like halfway through putting on my jacket. Like,
Yeah, that's all stupid, dude. Or like pretending to see the ring and freaking out. And
just
like,
whenever I'm like smiling, have a good time, snap a candid.
I didn't
we'll
even
be
want
good
him
with
around,
that.
dude. I was like, get out of here, dude. Like, you know, this is a closed party. It's pretty funny, dude.
That's great.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, dude.
Yeah, Christy was there.
Yeah.
Because of the whole snafu over the airport, like I went to the guy who was getting married and I was like, the rest of these guys are going back to San Diego. I don't know how I'm going to get to LA. Like, do you have like a, cousin that is? And he's like, I think Christy's flying out of LA. And at that moment, I made the decision that whatever the Uber cost, it was worth it. And so I paid $200 to a man to take me from
Wow.
Temecula to fucking LAX.
I think that's the right choice.
I did not have a question about it. I mean, like that was a difficult amount of money for me to spend at the time.
Sure.
Sure. KTCK does not pay their employees very much.
That is a lot for an Uber, but I see where you're coming from.
I would do it again.
That would be tough.
Like as
Yeah,
long as it
dude.
wasn't going to be like I wasn't able to eat as a result of
Yeah.
spending that $200, I was going to spend that $200.
It just seems like it'd be hard for good things. I mean, I'm sure, whatever. I'm not, I try to look on the bright side. But it does seem like now that I'm older, it would be harder to just be like, what the fuck? Like, come on. Like, what were you doing? Like, you're a normal person in many estimates. What's going on here?
What are you saying?
Explain yourself. Like,
To have her there?
any staff member that I liked,
I mean, I get
don't
it.
want to see them now as an adult because I feel like when I was younger, I was still like shell shocked. And I was like, I fully like these people. They were the
I mean,
nice ones.
he knew her family, like he spent a lot of time with
I'm
like
not
the
quarreling
entire
with
family.
his choice.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
I'm saying me
okay.
right now.
Yeah.
Like I know we joke about Jamie.
I'm not
can
here to
come on
second
the
guess
pod.
him or anyone
Definitely
else.
not.
Yeah.
But I'm saying me myself. I saw Christy leaving after I left Excel. At least I want to say twice.
Okay.
Because the next year at Thanksgiving, that's when another Excel student and I went to Houston together and met Jamie, maybe not Jamie, but Sally, Christy, like a good amount of them. Enough that it was just me and the dude. And we were at an IHOP table with at least like 6 or 7 people. But we were there to see our friends in Houston. But we also did want to see them. So it's funny. I mean, I don't know if now's the time to talk about it. I think you did refer to this already once
Yeah.
on the pod.
Yeah.
So we might as well explain a couple episodes back when TC referenced me being at an outing where somebody poured coffee on pancakes. That was a reference to that meetup. And, You know, I don't want to snitch on my bros, but like I said, we were not there to visit.
He was in a
Excel people
situation where
yet.
it was difficult for him to distinguish between coffee and syrup.
Yeah, dude. I mean, we were Temecula style, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, by that point, everyone was fully smoking weed. And so we were stoned sitting in IHOP with Jamie and
Yeah,
Sally, dude.
I do want to be clear after telling that story as a wonderful night of my or afternoon of my life. I don't think people should smoke marijuana and drive. That's my official position. It's reckless. I don't do it.
Yeah. I'm not going to disagree with you on
Yeah.
that.
Just I feel like my previous comments would have made it so that someone thought that that was all right or encouraged, and that's not my stance. I mean that legitimately.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah. I doubt I was driving because I don't think I had a license, for the record. That's another gift that Excel gave me.
There was another so I would assume that everyone did this with everyone of like you would see like like Google like I wonder how those kids are doing.
Of course, dude. That's how I found out like you lived in Dallas.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've never left.
Well, how the fuck was I supposed to know?
I
that?
know.
And you have left.
Briefly. Not really. I remember I don't like this memory just sticks out. I have no idea why. Like I remember looking you up on Facebook and seeing like a post where you were like I think it like gotten a new car.
Oh, really?
Like and we're like wishing the old one well. Did you have a car that like got damaged by a flood or something?
Yeah, definitely. I did not have a new car though. Or maybe I did. Like I got a Camry after that. Yeah,
It was
yeah.
just like R.I.P. to the
It was a Malibu. I called it the Alibu, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that sucked, man. That was a flash flood in San Antonio. And it would have been fine. The rain had started. I was on Trinity is a very hilly campus.
I remember that.
And so like I was in a dining hall.
I toured Trinity while I was at Excel, and like
Really?
in the back of my mind was like, I wonder if I'll see Al.
You definitely would have, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You were there.
Damn, dude. I didn't know that.
yeah.
Why didn't you go? I think it would have been a better fit for you than University of Dallas.
I mean, so at the beginning of my senior year, I'd like summer of junior year, I might even have been before that. University of Dallas has a thing where like extremely early in the process, they encourage everyone to visit and like have like a big weekend set up. Like we're like, this is when everyone visits and you like you do the whole thing and then you take a test like at the end of that. And based on that, they do admittance and they also have like a large pool of scholarship money that is doled out at that point.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so like going into my senior year, I knew that they would pay for half of my school.
Okay.
And the whole Excel dynamic of like you're made to feel very bad about the amount of money your parents have had to spend on things to this point. Like
Yeah.
just made to feel bad about like everything that was an inconvenience of raising a child.
That was in the arsenal.
Yeah. And so, the idea that a school was offering me a lot of money and that I would be like, yeah, but I would rather go to this one. It sounds more fun.
I see.
Like
Yeah,
if I
yeah.
like no one ever like told me to decide along those lines, but I knew in the way that I'm sure you understand that I was opening myself up to great risk if I did anything other than take the money that had been offered. And like the school loves they absolutely treated that as their accomplishment.
Of course.
And so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that it was listed in like the graduation program.
Why wouldn't it be, dude?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
like,
of course. dude.
TC's going here and he's got a scholarship. They might even put
Definitely.
them out. I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah. Like I think that they would like give that as like our graduating class of 14 has accumulated this many total dollars of scholarship
For sure.
money.
I would think
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And so if I like took off of the table them being able to say that because like
Yeah.
I thought Trinity was a better fit. I mean Trinity did seem more fun. Like it seemed
Yeah,
better.
yeah.
Like I was more excited about it.
It was fun.
But
but-
that was not my choice.
Hey, we're
really.
Yeah.
I
That
mean,
makes sense.
ultimately, the thing that I really regret is not going to Notre Dame. I would have liked to have gone to Notre Dame. I could have gotten in.
see.
I mean, like, it was a point where, like, it was so out of things that, like, I never applied.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I had scores above the median accepted student,
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
comfortably
dude.
so in most
I remember
instances.
looking at that college book being
Yeah.
like, where can I go? But
Yeah,
it was
because they would tell you
misleading,
the
dude.
average score of the incoming freshman class
Yeah.
the year that book was published.
But there was no section that's like, what if you went to Excel? You know?
Yeah, but you could kind of do a triangulation of like if it was within like 20, then it's like, well, it's
Yeah,
gonna be
actually,
tough.
you're right. And
I think I was like 100 points above the average admitted student.
yeah, I'm thinking more of my experience with Rice, but I agree you would have gotten into Notre Dame.
I mean,
agree.
you know, I didn't apply, so we don't know. But
think
like,
you would
I
have.
think that the shot is pretty good, and
Yeah.
like, I don't know, dude. It just would have meant a lot to me. Like, of all the like lasting consequences of that, like the thing that like to this day is like, it's just I don't know. I really would have liked to have gone, but
Yeah.
what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Because to get super fucking whatever about it. I like I said in previous episodes was like wanted to drop out of high school, did not want to go to college.
Yeah.
People aren't going to believe this when I say it. But like the weekend, like that first weekend that I got there,
It's wild that you were in debate and wanted to drop out of high school. You have to be the only kid that was in debate that wanted to drop out of high school.
I mean, the reason for both is that I like arguing.
Fair.
But yeah, so there's that first weekend. The next weekend after that, Dino, like, as like a, you know, I want to help you settle in. Like, here's something cool that I'd like to do for you. Like, had the whole school watch Rudy.
Nice. Okay.
And at the end of the movie, I was like, you know what? I am going to college. I'm going there.
Wow. Okay.
And then I didn't.
Yeah.
So like, that's very frustrating.
Damn. Yeah.
Given that, like, if it like it's one thing if like I would have realized like actually that school is for kids smarter than me.
But
Like
it's
that's
not.
the reason a lot of people don't go there. But like it's
Yeah.
not. Yeah.
Or like
No, I
you're
could
just
have
not
gone
that good at football.
But yeah.
Like Rudy.
there. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would not have had to go to Holy Cross and then attempt to apply as a transfer. I probably could have just done the
Just
regular
going
way.
right in.
Yeah.
Dude, okay. What I know this isn't the Catholic University podcast, but I never got that like Holy Cross. Isn't that a college in Boston?
I think it's outside of Boston, but yeah.
Is that where Rudy went?
No. Yeah, no.
That's
yeah.
what I never like.
There's
no
a-
way Rudy went
I mean,
there.
the Order of the Holy Cross is a Catholic order. They have multiple universities. They have the same name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, because Rudy's was more like a JUCO.
It's I mean, like you can see it from the, or that might be St. Mary's. There's
Is
a
it
couple
like,
different.
It's like Blinn College for A&M?
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I have always wanted.
In the university town, there's a couple universities. You've only ever heard of one of them. The rest of them are for, you know, like just generally.
Okay.
I'm sure the teachers hope to teach at Notre Dame as well, kind of thing. I don't know.
Dude, I had a professor at Trinity who left. Like it was her. It ended up being her last semester. Actually, she fucking taught me James Joyce.
Okay.
Yeah. But we didn't read Ulysses.
Yeah. No, I was signed Joyce once in college. I didn't read it. It was Portrait of an Artist, He's a Young Man. I'm sure it was great.
We read the short story The Dead. I mean, you could muster that.
That class
It's actually
was
pretty good.
one of the reasons why I transferred from the University of Dallas, because I was like, this is the kind of thing that like this is like I'm supposed to be finally doing what I want to do, like learn the advanced shit, and like it's not enjoyable. This is too much for me. Like I'm not smart enough to cut it with these kids.
Well, like studying books like that at college, at least the way college was like at early millennium, sucked. I thought like I liked this one teacher. That's
The
what I
reading
was gonna
schedule was
say.
too aggressive for me.
She said she sent an email and she was like, "I'm going to Holy Cross." I'm like, that fucking janky place that Rudy went. Like, I was like,
no.
seems like a step down.
The one in Massachusetts.
Well, that's when I got confused. Then
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's in Massachusetts, but Rudy wasn't in fucking Massachusetts. I don't think.
No. Just a Catholic order. I mean, in the way that there's multiple places called Loyola.
Yeah, that makes sense now that you put it that way. I never clearly looked like this has been lingering for 2 decades now.
Okay,
I
yeah.
didn't look it up, but
Glad I could
it has bothered me.
clear that up. If you have any other questions about orders, I might be inclined to.
Yeah. What are the Rosicrucians? You know, you hear
no
about
idea.
them.
No idea.
Have you heard the
I
name?
think that I feel like I shouldn't say. I think Notre Dame's Order of Holy Cross as well.
Okay.
That's the order they belong to.
What are the other orders?
I mean, Jesuits the big one.
Jesuits, Holy Cross. You got a third?
I think Opus Dei is an order, right?
Opus Dei.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
That's the Dan Brown.
Yeah. I know
Yeah.
like enough. I read Da Vinci Code
Okay.
when it came
Yeah.
out.
I think I read that at Excel. Pretty sure I read that. At
Okay.
Excel.
I think I snatched it like during that first Christmas break. I think my mom had it.
Uh-huh.
And I just grabbed it one day.
Yeah, no, it was tight. I mean, that was one of those. It was exciting when there was a hot book at Excel
Yeah.
of like that. There was a long list,
Of kids who were like, this is tight, like yelling.
but just like yeah, like I yeah.
So what
yeah.
were your Excel hot books, dude? This is interesting.
I mean, I feel like that might been like the archetypal hottest book, Da Vinci
Was
Code.
Da Vinci Code? Okay.
I mean, like,
We
it wasn't
scrapped the
for
Harry
everyone.
Potter discussion, I think.
Huh?
That was the draft podcast, right?
Yeah.
I won't try to recreate the magic.
Yeah, I don't remember Harry Potter being passed around too much. Like, yeah, certainly it had a moment, but I think that was the moment you're describing is before I was there.
Yeah, they didn't really even have a moment. Like it was
Okay.
just one kid tried to make them have a moment, but they
Yeah,
were for
yeah.
babies, and so
Yeah.
he got that.
I mean, I remember expending a lot of effort to get Catcher in the Rye, and that was very, very, very important to me.
So you got Catcher in the Rye brought to Excel? I've
No,
been
it
meaning
was
to
there,
reread
and
that.
like other kids, it was
Okay.
there was a line.
I think that kid
and I
is
was
just
like, I
having
really
a manic
wanted it.
episode that whole book.
Yeah,
Pretty wild.
yeah.
No one told me that.
It always blew my mind when people were like, "Yeah, I like that. It's a classic whodunit." Like the big reveal at the end. I'm like, well, that's what I'm saying. The first chapter, like he's saying, like I'm writing this from an institution,
Yeah.
and then they're
Or
like,
he says,
but
like, since I
actually,
came here.
he's in an institution. I'm like, yeah, okay. I picked that up on the first chapter.
See, I haven't reread. I own the book, and I recently read like someone writing about it online. So I picked it up. I agree with you, like because I read the first page.
Yeah,
And it definitely does reference that, but it's very.
I haven't
oblique.
read it cover to cover since that first time,
book
but
club.
I've.
Dude,
Actually, you know what? I have. I did. Whenever I was in Europe, I did.
that's what I want to do
That's
for
a
book
flex.
club. I want to go back. Whenever I was in Europe.
Yeah.
Just let it fly, dude.
Yeah.
Just
I do recall rereading that in Europe,
Yes, of course. Yes,
but I do.
I believe you. You're
That was the
type.
last time
You're
in
a
my
very
life where I was really
continental
tearing
type.
through books. At Excel, I tore through books constantly. They banned them at one point.
Yeah, we
That
have
was
to
after-
talk about that. But I want to know your hot books. So Da Vinci Code was a big one. Catcher in the Rye. Because books
I
were a
wish I could
huge deal. at
recall
Excel.
more easily. Yeah, no, for sure. Because it's the kind of thing where like the kinds of kids who normally like would rather watch movies that like wasn't an option or
Yeah.
rather watch TV. Like the only entertainment that you consistently had was books. So
Yeah.
the
And
kids
plus-
who otherwise would not be inclined to read books would be like, well, fuck it. I guess I'll try and get some entertainment out of this.
Yeah, and shifts. Like they went
Yeah.
a long way
Yeah.
on shifts.
That's a good way to get a shift go by.
And sometimes you could read during study hall. That was always dicey. It depended on a lot of things.
Did depend on a lot of
That's why I
things.
say sometimes. It was not the default.
I mean, Catch 22 was hot for a while. I did not
Yeah, I
like it.
remember that.
I thought like I was like once it got to me, I was like, you guys are going crazy about this. This thing fucking sucks.
That's funny because there's a plot line in there where the guy basically like invents a black market economy.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminded me when you talked about the kid who was doing the tokens with
Yeah.
interest.
Yeah.
I was like, that basically is funny the way that Catch 22 plot line is.
Yeah.
Like the guy who's in charge of supplies for the army like ends up basically like running a multi-million-dollar empire across Europe, like doing all kinds of crazy shit. And I was like, it's kind of the same joke.
I didn't get that far.
Like, it's a long book.
That sucks.
It's funny. I don't think it sucks. I censored mail for Excel.
It's boring.
And there's like
pointless.
a very early anecdote
yeah,
where the guy
yeah.
like has fun doing that. So
Yeah.
that hooked me. And then I was studying for the SAT and there's a lot of good words in it. And ironically, the only one I remember learning from Catch 22 is the word prolix, which means like uses a lot, maybe too many words. And I
Yeah.
remember being like, yeah. Like,
Yeah. Of course, this guy knows that word.
Yeah. But it's like, yo, if you were chilling in the fucking trenches, dude.
Didn't you have
that
like
would
a list
be-
of words?
Yeah, well, that's how I studied for the SAT. I would actually a piece of paper like this. There was a way.
I
you could
remember
fold
you
it.
carrying around a list of words on
Yeah.
a piece of paper.
Well,
like
actually, the
that.
guy who taught me that was the guy who did the token lending.
Okay.
And so he invented that for our Spanish words.
Yeah.
And then we started doing it because he was nasty at SATs too. So that was actually all credit where it's due, his invention. But the technique is like get an old book, and then every time you don't know the word, look it up, write it down
Yeah.
on your bookmark, and that way you can just quiz yourself all the time. It was sick, dude. Genius idea.
Yeah.
From the Broski.
Yeah. No, he incredibly sharp guy. No, I had Ishmael was another one where I remember
Ishmael was huge.
there was another one where I like read one page. It was like, this fucking blows.
I
He
read
does
the
it
whole
wrong.
thing, but I was like, this is a sermon, dude. I mean, it's not, it's like a screed. It's an
hate it.
environmentalist. It was like,
So boring.
dude, it's probably an early precursor to the Green New Deal. You know, I'm going to check it out again.
Old Man in the Sea was assigned to everyone
Okay.
and
Okay.
was
That was a big dog.
incredibly dope.
Yeah. It's a
Love
great one.
that shit.
Great one. That wasn't
Yeah.
assigned to everyone when I got there.
I mean,
guess
it's
part
just
of English
such
class?
a fucking tranquil ass book. Like I
Yeah?
just feel such fucking peace when I read it.
Interesting.
Like just the way that everything is laid out. It's like just very simple. Like
Well, dude,
they're
I
not.
mean,
It's not trying to it's not trying to challenge you. It's trying to like we're walking together on this
I
calm
bet if
path.
I bet if you read it now, it would be a completely different takeaway. And I
be.
don't know. I haven't read it myself since Excel.
I mean, it's about a conflict. You know, like he's fighting that fucking fish.
Well, dude, I fucking read an essay recently because Ernest Hemingway was huge at Excel, at least when
Yeah.
I was there. Like, there were some older kids who loved him and like got me into him. For Whom the Bell Tolls is another one where it was like kind of long. You know what I mean? But the shorter stuff was
Yeah, and
was-
I feel like
thought
at
was
some
really
point
hard.
that got pulled.
For Whom the Bell Tolls, really?
I thought.
For being too sexual.
I don't remember the reason. I just remember someone being like, "You can't read this anymore."
Interesting. I could see that. I could see that at the behest of some specific people, actually, because you have to know the book to do that, which is like,
Yeah,
I don't like that. Getting For Whom the Bell Tolls pulled
Yeah.
like that.
there's a lot of books. I mean, like obviously, Catcher in the Rye is the kind of thing. Like if Jamie had read Catcher in the Rye and knew that I was reading that, it would have been
Yeah.
a big fucking problem.
Yeah.
I mean, he
Yeah.
hires a fucking hooker. He gets drunk. You're like,
Well, dude, that was what I was saying. I read it recently. Like I guess I've been reading a lot of people writing about books that I read back in the day, because that's where I didn't even realize it, but they were like, yeah, Holden the whole time. Basically, the thing he's describing is a manic episode. Makes sense.
yeah.
And he probably got
I mean, the whole
molested.
thing of just being like,
Did you pick up on that?
What,
He
that he
probably
what?
got molested, not by the guy who like grabs him in the apartment, but like I didn't really get that. But that's what the person was writing, like online.
I see that.
Like
I don't know that I walked away being like, this is
I
a book about a guy
definitely
being
did.
molested.
That's why I was like, maybe I should reread it, because I was like, I still don't really know unless they're talking about, because like he stays with the teacher who like in the middle of the night he wakes up and the teacher's like trying some funny business.
Yeah. Okay.
But
yeah.
My sense of the writing was that was not what they were referring to. You know, they were referring to like something that happened to him before. So I do want to, dude, for the book club that I keep talking about, I want to go back to these old high school books, man. Like
I mean, I'll do that.
1984, fucking Brave New World, because these are the
I
books
can't
that.
believe they let me read 1984.
Well, they didn't know. Well, dude,
I did read it there.
A kid got that pulled, and actually, that is the kid I just thought of when I was like, he would get fucking For Whom the Bell Tolls pulled.
But it was
I-
the kind of thing, you know, I mean, like I was there for 4 years.
No, I remember. Well, maybe they brought it back then.
That's what I'm saying. I remember the time when it was pulled, and then like, you know, all of the people who knew it was pulled, like cycled out, and like I knew, but I'm not going to say anything. I want to read the book
Yeah.
because I read Animal Farm first.
Yeah.
You know what? I think that 1984 was one. This was common enough. My parents, you know, I mean, they loved the fact that I loved reading,
Yeah.
and so anything that like I requested, that they would be like, yeah,
But
we'll
it-
send
yeah,
that
yeah.
right now.
And for the listener, so if a parent sent a book or brought one on a visit, it still needed to get approved by
Yeah.
the school.
Yeah, no, there was plenty that like didn't.
But
And
I
they did
think
that
they
with
were-
music too. Like they sent
Yeah.
like all the music that like my family listened to when I was a kid, and that would like across the board was like, no, of course not.
But they loosened the rules for music.
Garth Brooks.
Yeah. They would let country shit in because they liked
They
country
wouldn't
stuff.
let Garth Brooks in though. What, like my parents
Oh,
sent those CDs.
We listened to Garth Brooks at the college dorm. That's where
Well, yeah,
I got
you had
into
different
Garth
rules.
Brooks. Yeah. I thought it trickled down because like, well, they listened
Dude,
to like
what you were
Boot Scoot
probably listening to is
Boogie
the
and shit.
CDs that my parents burned and sent.
No, this was a box set.
Okay,
sure.
Okay.
But no, I remember when that kid got 1984 banned specifically, what he explained, he was like, there's just some parts, they're just having sex so much. And
Yeah.
I was like, all right, dude, if this helps you
Yeah,
in
it's
your
not the point.
recovery journey, I guess.
But Animal Farm, I mean, that gave me much to consider.
Yeah, I can see why I would, dude. Definitely. Well, I actually thought about it earlier when you were like, if you're in trouble, you know, you have to be like somber or whatever.
Uh-huh.
I was like, you basically, what I didn't want to, you know, interrupt you, but you also kind of have to be like that, the horse or whatever that is always like, I'll work harder. Like the guy, you know, the horse that just keeps saying like, I love the farm. I'll work harder. Like that's what they wanted from a kid who was in trouble. It's like, I'll work harder.
Yeah.
And I love Excel and it's the best. Like
It's perverted, like the
something
kind
happens
of
to that
rush
horse
that
though,
you
right?
get off of him. Yeah, I mean, I think he works himself to death.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Obvious enough.
Yeah.
That that's coming. Just like I remember so many times the like conversation with your parents about getting redshirted or jumpsuited,
Yeah.
and like I just knew that like one.
I don't think my parents really knew what it was even.
Oh, mine knew.
Like they never really registered. They were like, "Why are you telling me this?" Like most of the time.
But like the release of, like I just knew so quickly how to like, it is perverted. Like how good I got at like navigating the. Actually, you know what, guys? Really, this is a good thing because it's exposed some things that I know that I need to work on that I didn't know that I needed to work on before.
Sure.
And so I'm taking this as a gift, and I think that we all should be excited about this. And like by
great
the end of
attitude.
that, like they were excited about the fact that the people said that I was doing a bad job, and like that's just it's so fucking sick having to do like that dance
Yeah,
of
definitely.
like I'm so excited that these people told me I'm a piece of shit, and you know what? We should all as a family celebrate them
Yeah.
ripping me apart and like tearing apart my self confidence. It's awesome.
Yeah,
And
that's
then,
literally
and
what
then
they
at the
want.
end they would be like, you know what? You're right. I am glad that they're fucking with you that much.
Well, dude,
Because I told them it was okay. Because I told them I liked it. That they fucking told me I was a piece of shit and were like harassing me about minor details.
yeah, yeah,
And like to this day, I know that that is like their conception. Like that they were like, well, you know, I mean, he said that he liked it the whole time. So pretty sure that's accurate.
yeah. They had a pretty tight program going for a while. With
It was a
like,
good cult.
yeah,
They knew how to run a cult.
definitely. I mean, this specific one.
Most cult leaders do.
I mean, well, so that's when I wonder whose idea was it to switch from a rehab to a school? How did that happen?
We'll never know, but I
I
would
no,
love
dude.
to.
We don't say never, dude. Don't
I
say
mean,
never.
you know how you could learn? Like fucking Sally would have to tell you. Call her and see.
There's other people that could tell you, dude.
I don't know. I don't know him.
It seemed like on the I'm not on Facebook right now, but
Mm-hmm.
I've seen the page. That it seemed like somebody was talking about it. I mean,
I'll-
maybe we shouldn't talk about the page. Is it private?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Okay. Well, then maybe we shouldn't talk about what's on it. But
I don't know.
all I'm saying is I wonder if was there a practical consideration if we just bought all this land with 10 credit cards? Because I think we've talked about that or we've alluded to that. But they bought these 27 acres on financed by credit cards, consumer debt. They have rehab people there. So that I have to infer they're getting some sort of money for that, which is probably through some sort of insurance, just because that's how rehab gets paid for, certainly in any way that you can pay worse than a mortgage. I mean, the terms of 5 credit cards are going to be less favorable than a mortgage.
Yeah.
So they need revenue, like they have a nut that they need to make pretty fucking quick.
Absolutely.
And so I wonder, and we know that they know the Family Foundation School people. And that's a similar school in New York that long predates Excel.
Yes.
And they were in regular contact with them like within a few years of Excel founding because I know they visited them when I was there in 99.
Yeah.
Or I got there in 99 and I know they visited them while I was there. So I wonder do you think it was like Family Foundation School was like, yo, you should just do the school shit. It's way better and you get more money. Or do you think they were like, God tells
the
us?
origin story that was always told to me was that Linda showed up, and I think there was a couple other people in the same boat, but Linda was the only one that was around, like still around whenever I got there. That Linda showed up and like was attempting to get clean, but had her daughter,
Okay.
and so they were kind of like, well, what do we do? And they're like, well, kids go to school. We could do a school for them.
Just for one kid?
I mean, I think that there was a couple. I think that there was like several people there who were
But they were all kids
adults
of
attempting to
rehab
get clean,
kids.
who had
Rehab
children,
people. Okay.
and needed to do something with them. And they were like, all right, we'll do a school for them.
So do you think they brought Nancy down then, or was Nancy already?
I mean, I think that Nancy was around and was like, you know what? I
What
could
was
take
she
this.
doing? What do you think she was doing before Excel? Was she teaching in a regular school?
Tremendous question.
Right?
Alex. I have no idea.
She's old.
She was old. She's
Do
still
you think
old.
she was retired?
I don't know.
I wonder, dude. Because Doug, I know, taught public high school like shop,
Yeah.
and I think he
Yeah.
like coached football. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
wild.
yeah.
But yeah.
Dude, he was so. He was actually one of the nicer people. Were you there on his birthday when he like started crying?
I mean, he
dude?
was particular. No. I have no memory of that.
Dude, that moves me to this day when I think about it.
What happened?
It was just like it happened to be he was working on his birthday, I guess, and just a regular birthday. Made him cards. You know, they make you basically make cards for the staff.
Yeah.
Maybe a cake was made.
Did you ever get cards?
for my birthday?
No. After you left.
No, I don't think so.
During the period, like certainly I would have assumed that you did because they had a thing for a little while there.
You write cards to kids who left?
Yeah.
To keep
of,
them on
like
the-
encouragement.
Maybe I did. I
And
mean,
I think that you were around for that.
I don't remember that
Because our man Dan, who we've mentioned several times, one of the fucking most hilarious things, just his cards, as you might imagine, were fucking bizarre.
Wait, Daniel was sending cards to people on the outside.
Yes, that's why I'm saying there was not like a long time when you were gone, but Daniel was there. So you definitely wrote these
No.
cards.
Daniel left before me.
So you definitely wrote these cards.
Yeah, I mean, not definitely.
It might have
but
been that you were
stands
like
to reason.
done with high school, so they didn't make you. But
That's
like,
what
we
I'm
had
thinking.
to.
Like, yeah. I'm like, was there
Daniel
some
and I
reason-
definitely had to.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I remember sitting there with him. Of course.
Well, I just think that would have upset me so much. It would have like stuck out as a memory of just because these were people I knew for the past like 2 to 3 years. Like I would be like, I'm writing a fucking card.
they wouldn't tell you who it was for.
Oh,
It's just
okay,
write a
okay,
card
okay.
that is encouraging.
Oh,
We'll
just
send
like
it to
keep
someone.
it up, keep your head up.
Yeah.
It works if you work it.
Yeah, I remember the gentleman with the token infrastructure would always make like a different like keep on keeping on card, which is like a Grateful Dead thing, but he thought that the staff wouldn't know, and like it looks like a sufficiently happy message.
Dude, that's funny. Sorry. Very quick aside as that. The
Yeah.
reverse of that happened. You know, we've talked about how they had like weird freakouts over thing like the X-Men freak out or whatever.
Yeah,
Where they think a piece of pop culture means something that most people don't think it means.
yeah,
So we made cards for Sally when I like first got there. And you know, we listened to oldies only. So there's a song Mustang Sally.
yeah. I
You
remember
know
the
that song?
story. Yeah,
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I don't want to tell you the story over again.
no, but the listener doesn't know it. Keep going, dude.
All right. So if you don't know the song, the hook or the chorus is like, all she wants to do is ride Sally, ride. It's like a Mustang, Sally riding a Mustang. But I guess it's a double entendre. Like a lot of those oldie songs were, but none of us knew this really. So a kid drew a picture of Sally like riding in a Mustang. And it was a nice card, and it was like in cool font, like Mustang Sally. And then he wrote like "Ride Sally Ride," like, and just like "Happy Birthday, Love," you know, kid's name. And Jamie came in and went fucking insane, like just screaming at him. And then it was as if they had caught like a kid trying to pull the Grateful Dead thing.
Yeah.
And that's where I don't know if I've like fully explained it. Like she took like 10 minutes to be like, you know what you did, admit it. And he was so like, what are you talking about? And she finally was like, that it means it's a sex song. You're making jokes about Sally like riding a guy, like riding. Like, and the whole school was like, thank you. We're now picturing this. Like literally everyone was dumbfounded. Like no one knew that. But anyway, just an interesting story.
Yeah, no, dude, and I mean, I think that it's worth. Don't dismiss
I
and
know.
move on. The experience of like try like because once they come in, and start yelling. The only thing is like, how do I get to safety? How do I get to peace?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like, so you know, like if I think that I'm going to get there faster by being like, Yes, of course I knew it was a sex thing. I'm a terrible pervert. Like, can we just get this over
Yeah,
with?
yeah. He couldn't do that.
And
Like,
some people
that's-
couldn't.
No. Like,
And I couldn't at the start.
It's like no.
But like learning that skill, it's terrible. It's an awful thing that no one should ever have to learn.
well,
No, well. I'm sure that the people who learned it has served them well. The professional world
Yeah,
is
that's what I
filled
was
with
gonna say.
situations
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's
It's
a
not a
useful
good
skill,
way to
but no
learn
one
it.
should have it.
no one should come by it that way. I'll tell you that. And there shouldn't be people in the world that make it a good skill to have. But
Yes,
since they
that's
are
what I'm
in
saying.
the world, you should know how to deal with them, like one way or another,
But
because
yeah,
you can't completely avoid them. I think. But anyway,
in the moments that I'm an atheist, that's a strong, that's a formulation that makes any world that includes that is clearly not intelligently designed. That is a feeling that I have from time to time. Other times I feel the opposite way. You know,
that's
people are
interesting,
complicated.
dude. This I think is either a law school professor or a Doug Ofke Bible quote.
Yeah.
Because like I had a professor that talks kind of like Doug, so I think I blend them.
Uh-huh.
But I think Doug would say like ours is not the reason why. That's what I think of sometimes
Yeah.
when I think about like why are these people in the world.
Yeah.
Just like not for me to figure that out. But I still wonder. Anyway, all I was gonna say with Doug was he started crying like after everyone sang happy birthday and he like got broken up. He couldn't even he just started saying thank you. And then he started to say the sentence like I love you all, and he broke like by the end of it and just like was crying.
That's hard for me to square. Like, he
I know,
just
dude.
wasn't there that much, didn't appear to have that deeper relationships with kids.
I think he really part of him like I meant a lot to him. I mean, he would come in and cook the kolaches.
Yeah.
I think he liked, dude. It was very hard for me because I'm not super like handy. I'm just not into that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But there were like whole days when I would have to like follow him around and fucking fix stuff. Like
Yeah.
when I first got there, and I hated it. Like, cause he would be like so frustrated. Like, hand me that.
It's
hand me
easy to
this.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
then-
frustrating to him when it's not easy to other people.
Yeah, and it was like I was anxious the whole time.
It's like having to talk to someone in a different language.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And it's like all I'm thinking about is how I'm gonna fuck up. But it's not like he ever was like, and then I'm gonna tell Jamie that you suck at knowing what wrench I need. It
No,
just
it was
like,
just the fact that you had disappointed him was the stakes.
yeah, dude. I wanted him to like tell me I did a good job.
Yeah.
And then when they did put me in charge of the kitchen,
Certainly, if some kind of figure that's older than me could tell me that I'm not a piece of shit, that would mean a lot.
yeah, dude. Well, dude, I had to find out from one of my friends, when they said I had to be in charge of everything because I was coasting too much. When Doug found out I was in charge of the kitchen, I wasn't there. And there was a dog named Dingo at the time because it had like big ears. And like my buddy came and he was like, dude, you should have heard Doug when he found out you were running the kitchen. Because, Doug would get like possessive about the kitchen because he ran breakfast.
Yeah.
And apparently what he was like, Alex is running the kitchen. Like, you might as well have Dingo Dango in here running it. Talk about the blind leading
really?
the blind. Yeah.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah. I was like, I was like,
I mean,
what?
you got to know that he doesn't respect you the way it is the kids who could cook. Like, he liked them.
This was before those kids were even there.
Oh, really?
Why else would I be running the kitchen? Like, not when
Like,
I
you
had to
ran it, like-
supervise those kids.
Okay.
When
okay.
no, that was just antics, kitchen
Yeah.
antics. I had to be there because there are too many kitchen antics, dude.
Yeah.
Someone let them have the Anthony Bourdain book, and they went insane. Like,
I know,
that literally did happen.
Jake ordered that book, and like I saw it at his house. It was like, yeah, that's a rehab classic,
Dude,
right
I
there.
read it in the kitchen because I would just sit in the corner. I really was
like,
there to
it's-
prevent antics.
It is the kind like that's like the definition of something that they didn't want there.
I know, dude.
Yeah.
But I was not
Like,
a
it's
book
just
snitch.
about Bourdain's wild days.
Yeah, I did get the fountainhead taken away.
Well, thank you.
I will cop to that. And
I don't really know much. I know that libertarians like it, so like I reflect.
That's not why I got it taken away.
I know. I understand.
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
why
yeah.
you got.
I don't
want to
get into that reason right now, but fucking, I don't know. Anyway,
I probably I don't know. I don't want to do too much plan because I always feel like that's frustrating for the listener if like we mention a plan and then like they get invested in one way and then if we go the other way they're not going to like it. So I don't like
agree.
doing it. But I feel like I got another hour, but I need to fucking up the blood sugar. Do you have
this is
another
like an
hour, or
hour
would you like to
20
wrap here?
with that, right?
I know it is.
Yeah, if I can take another break,
Okay, so we can come back and do another
another hour after this, we'll talk about
an
life
hour
skills.
long episode.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I do have some stuff specifically that I feel like we're circling that I would like to talk about.
Love it.
But I need more blood sugar to do it.
Okay.